So this is what we have so far. We want to start to maybe put some gaps, right? So we don't want it to attach directly, right, to the windows. So look at your grid pane. We can go to grid pane and do set padding and use insets. And inset, there's 4 values: top, left, bottom, right, as it counterclockwise. So we can set padding to the top, right? So I have to say new insets, right? And import that in. It has to be not from AWT. Just be careful when you use this. It has to be JavaFX. So let's look at what we get first. So you see that if I do 10, it's just adding the gap. It's not attaching to the windows like it used to be, right? Right. Now we can also start to add more text field. Now text field, if I want 10 numbers, I can create an array of text fields, right? And when we do array, have to specify the size, right? And like I said, I actually want to create a constant for size, right? So I'm going to use the code here, right, that I showed you earlier with the console, create a constant for size, and then size, right? Now let's see if I want to do what happened to 10, 0, 0, and 0, right? Oh, at text field, that's gonna be an error because it's no longer the, right? It's no longer is an array. So if I add text field, I have to instantiate an object of text field first. If I say text field zeros, let's see, is it going to show? There's an error because you can't just add it when you're not creating it. So creating it, that means new keyword, right? New. You have to say something like text field 0 and equals to new text field, something like that, right? So let's run it. Okay, you see that if I do that, it's add, but if I specify 10, it's always go to the top because the rest I want it to be 0, right? Top, left, bottom, right is always 0. Like I said, if we just do one, that means assume that all of them, right? If I just left that, it's assume that all of them is going to be 10, right? So if I want to do top, left, then I have to specify the rest, right? Bottom and right. So you see it's going to be gap. Wow, actually it's go to top right, right? So it's go to clockwise, top right. And then bottom right. Right? And then left. So in that case, we can just do just 10, right? So it's the same thing. Now that's you do padding. You can also, like, I'm going to start to add, right? I could add one item like that, right? But we know that we can use loop to help. So we can just say in I equal to 0, I less than the text field dot length, and I plus plus. So we start to construct creating and just index I 10, right, according to the size. And then I can just say add When I add to the grid pane at each of that. So let's see what we get, right? So we constructing 10. Now the problem is, by default, it's going to stack on the top of each other when you add like that, because this is grid and you didn't specify location where you want it to go, right? So if I want to go like vertically, right? So 0 first row, column 0, 0, 1, and so on, right? 0, column 0, column 0 and 1 is the row, right? So you can put that into the location argument like that, comma. Let's say if I want to say I and 0, right? So we want to, actually that should be here, grid pane, and we have to specify the index. So I want to specify the location. I just remove the grid get children now. So I'm going to see if it's adding, right? So 0 refer to row, right? Row. And I refer to column number, column 0, column 1. So pretty much the X and Y, right? This is column like X and Y, only 0. Right. So now user can start to type the number, right? Enter intent number, something like that, right? So now we also want to put some gaps then, so we can do spacing, right? So we can do grid pane dot spacing, like to make it look nice. Sets maybe spacing. There's no such method spacing. We have to set vertical gaps, like vertical is like Y and horizontal gap is X, so which is H gap, since we have it as horizontal. And we can set like the gaps between each item. So there you go. So we have the gaps, right? So now we should be able to put a message like on the top, like enter 10 numbers, right, to the user, which is a label. So we gonna say label, right, equals to new label, and we can just put the same message that I say here, right, on my console. But now we use GUI, we're using GUI instead, right? So we got import label. Okay, so right click and import. Just hover the mouse over and import. So we have the label, and I want to put that on the top. We technically can combine two layouts now, right? So we can do the border pane, right? So border pane. Border pane is just like north, east, west, and south, like border layout in Java Swing, right? That we have done in exercise 6.3. So new border pane. So we need to import it in. And what I'm gonna do is I will put a border pane, right? So my border pane here to use by adding. So now you want to get, let's see, get children, and then dot add, and we want to add label. So to the top, I just try to add that to the top and add the grid pane to the center, right? So in Swing we use add, but in JavaFX we use set top, and then you put a label on the top, and then border pane dot set center we just set to grid pane, right? And now your scene no longer need a grid pane anymore, right? So because I change to border pane, because if you use grid pane, it's only show the one without the label. So I need to change to border pane. So run it now. You should see, right? Enter 10 numbers separate by space. And you might want to put some inset right there. Then it's not attaching to the corner left, right? And to the top. So border pane can set the inset, right? Dot set. So set padding, that's what we need. And then do the new insets. Say maybe you want to do 10 or around it. So it's going to look like that, right? Enter 10 numbers separate by space. And then you can do format if you want to be bold and things like that, right? Format the text. So, and to set the format of the label, you have to do font class. And this font class, you pretty much just need to import that. And you have to follow the constructor. Like you can put the, let's look at the Java doc. Then you know how the parameter works. You can do bold, you can do italics fonts, right? So name the type like Times New Roman, style like bold, and size. So 3 arguments, right? So let's set the font family first. So this is a family here. So if I want to do Times New Roman, right? And then I can do font dot bullet and font dot, like this is size, so I can just pretty much just say if I want it to be big, right? So let's run it. Oh, but before you run it, you have to set it to label. So label dot set font and set to the font values that I just created earlier, right? Set font. Let's see the parameter that it's going to take. So that's the font value. All right, so I want to set font. There's a method set font. Take it because I used the wrong import. That's why very carefully. This is not Swing. This is AWT. I mean JavaFX. So not AWT. So it should set the fonts. Just import the right one. So that's key. It's no longer AWT. So it's going to be different. Right. So we want another error is in Java doc. It's only take 2 parameters, right? We cannot do the bold here because it's not AWT. So I have to delete that out. So let's run the application. Voila! So we get that, right? Enter 10 numbers separate by space. So now user can enter the numbers. So that's how we